Hey everyone, welcome back to Damn Tasty Vegan. It's your friend Maria Rose. I am so freaking proud of myself. I'm coming up on 2 years sober, January 11th, 2021, and I did not think that I would ever make it this far. So in my last video where I talked about how I was finally able to get sober, I said that I left it kind of open-ended. I didn't really know how long I wanted to do this for. I just wanted to change my relationship with alcohol. I wanted to get to a point where I didn't need alcohol to socialize, to relax. So I finally gotten to that place, and I'm gonna keep going. I love this lifestyle. I love being sober. There were 5 things that needed to be in place for me to quit, and one of those was changing my mindset. Within changing my mindset, one of the things I did was to focus on the positives of being sober, what the benefits were. And after discovering how many benefits there are to being sober, I don't want to go back to what I was doing before. So I'm making this video as a way to motivate those of you that may be wanting to get your drinking under control and you just want a little push in the right direction, you want a little motivation. I'm so glad I did this because I would have never known all of the amazing things on the other side of sobriety. And I also want to show you what I've learned in my 2 years being sober. Hopefully it can motivate you if you're wanting to change your relationship with alcohol. Yeah, hopefully this is inspiring for you. So the first thing I learned is that I have a lot more mental energy to focus on being productive and building a life that I love. Managing a drinking problem is exhausting and it takes a lot of mental energy, mental and emotional energy, and you don't really realize how much you spent on it until you let it go. Now that I'm not spending that energy on managing my problem and trying not to fall off the deep end, I can turn that attention and focus toward building a life that I love, toward becoming financially independent, toward building my own business, writing songs, moving to a city that I love instead of staying in a place that makes me miserable. As soon as I freed up that mental energy, I was able to put it toward building a life that I love instead of numbing myself in a life that I was miserable in. The second thing I learned is that I can still have a shit ton of fun sober. Fun does not require alcohol. This was something I was really afraid of when I first went sober. I thought my life was going to be super boring, like there would be nothing to do. I would just be like staring at the wall watching paint dry. I realized that the fun didn't come from being drunk, it came from spending that quality time with people. And I know it sounds really corny and cliche, and it was honestly like higher quality time spent because I didn't spend that time trying to manage my drinking, trying to not drink too much, trying to slow myself down, trying to not say something stupid, trying to not hurt other people, trying to not drink and drive. I was able to actually be more present. And that makes for a better time because you're more present. The third thing I learned is that there's so many things that are a lot more fun than drinking. So instead of just getting stuck in that rut of going to a bar, having a drink as the only source of entertainment, I had to get creative and find other ways to entertain myself. And I found I really love activity-based like dates or fun nights. I really love going to escape rooms before, the shit hit the fan. I like doing those climbing courses, those climbing obstacle courses, or indoor wall climbing, trampoline parks. And I absolutely fell in love with walking, like finding interesting places to go walk. It is so nice to just spend time in nature, walking around, talking and connecting with a loved one. It really opened up my eyes to how many more things there are to do in life than just sitting on my ass in a bar getting wasted. The next thing I learned is that being the only one without a hangover feels amazing. It honestly feels like a superpower. It is such an incredible feeling to wake up the next morning and just feel like ready to start your day, not wallow in self-pity, not wallow in regret, not worry about some stupid thing you might have said or done. I do not miss that at all. I have my weekends back now. I can actually be productive on the weekends. It really sinks in when you see how miserable everyone is the next day. And sometimes when, that feeling of feeling like you're missing out, when like you're the only one not drinking, sometimes it helped me to focus on the fact that, tomorrow I'm gonna not feel like complete shit and I'll be able to have a normal day. So that's something nice to focus on instead of focusing on, I'm missing out on the fun. You're not missing out on the fun. You're still there and you're actually more present. So yeah, that was pretty cool learning how amazing not being hungover is, how much more time and freedom you have. The next thing I learned is that tea is an amazing replacement for wine. So before I stopped drinking, I was pretty obsessed with wine, learning, the different types of wine, learning where they're grown. I kind of geeked out about it and I was kind of sad, I'll be honest, about giving that hobby up because wine was really interesting to me. Plus, wine was just like embedded in my mind as a way to relax after a stressful day. Just pour yourself a glass of wine, watch some TV, read a book, talk to a friend. That was pretty embedded in my mind. So I needed something to replace that role of relaxing after a long day. And nothing is better suited for the job than tea. And let me explain why. I'm not talking shitty like tea bags that are full of just like tea dust. I'm talking good quality loose leaf tea. I kind of started geeking out and learning about the world of tea when I started binge watching the YouTube channel Mayleaf. Green and white tea are full of this amino acid called L-theanine, and L-theanine helps to relax your mind while focusing it. And so L-theanine combined with caffeine, which is like, gets you alert. So because it's this perfect blend of L-theanine with caffeine, tea makes you alert and awake while making you feel relaxed and focused and calm. And it's such an amazing feeling, and it's the perfect thing to drink after a long, stressful day. So if you were a wine lover like I was, get into the world of tea. It's a big world. And I even learned there's such a thing as getting tea drunk if you drink it in the Eastern Chinese style, which is called gong fu style, where you brew a large amount of loose leaf tea in a small amount of water for a short amount of time. So because of all of the amino acids and caffeine in the tea, it gives you this kind of elevated, kind of drunk, kind of giddy feeling out of it. And it's totally good for you. It's not gonna, it's not addictive. It's just a way to kind of alter your mind a little bit without getting wasted and without feeling like shit. Tea is a beautiful thing to geek out on. It's a beautiful way to end your day. The next thing I learned is that I have a lot more energy to exercise. So I exercise more and I actually look forward to exercising. And I also have a different relationship with exercise now. I don't see it as a way to like lose weight and burn off the calories from the night before. I see it more as a way to take care of my body and also my mind, because exercise is so important for my mental health and mental stability. And speaking of mental health, I also learned that my depression and anxiety is a fuck ton more manageable now that I'm not drinking. We all know alcohol is a depressant. When I was drinking all the time, my moods would just go all over the place. It was like the worst roller coaster ride. And then, the next day hungover, I got super anxious and depressed, and the lows would be super low and the highs would be super high. And now that I'm not drinking, it's so much more manageable. Like, I still suffer with depression and anxiety. I have since I've been 13 years old. It's a hell of a lot more manageable now, and I don't get stuck in the depression as long as I used to. It's like a day or two and I'm good. Another thing is I learned how to respect my boundaries and limits more. I learned how to say no more. And so sometimes I would go into circumstances that maybe I didn't feel comfortable going in, or talk to people I didn't feel comfortable talking to. And in order to do that, I would drink to be able to do those things. And now instead of drinking, I just pay attention to how I'm feeling. And I don't force myself into situations where I feel super uncomfortable and unsafe. I also learned how to say no, because, when people offer you drinks, or when people, want you to stay out super late and you're kind of done socializing. I'm an introvert. I only have a certain amount in my social battery, and once that's like used up, like I'm done for the night, I hit a wall and I just start staring off into nothing. And now I'm more in tune with that, and I'm able to, leave situations when I start to feel socially drained, instead of forcing myself to stay there, to be polite or feel like I'm not missing out. That's been pretty cool to practice saying no and to practice respecting my boundaries. And the last thing I learned is that I have less regrets and less worries. There's enough stresses in life as it is that we don't need to add anything else to it. When you have a drinking problem, it causes a lot of stress and anxiety, as you know. You worry about stupid things you've said and done, hurtful things you've said and done. You worry about drinking and driving. You worry about your health. I don't worry about those things anymore, and that's also great for my mental health. That's something else you have to look forward to. So yeah, that's everything I learned from being sober for 2 years. I love this lifestyle. I finally changed my relationship with alcohol. I don't need it anymore. And there's so many benefits that I'm gonna keep living this lifestyle. I love it. There's no need for me to reintroduce alcohol on a regular basis. Yeah, I'll enjoy like 1 glass of champagne, 1 glass of wine a year, maybe take a sip of my husband's like microbrewed beer, but I'm able to keep it at that 1 sip, 1 drink a year, and I'm good. Like, I don't need it anymore, and it feels amazing. So I hope that this video inspired you, gave you some motivation to help getting your drinking under control if that's what you're wanting to do. So let me know if you have any questions. Let me know about your story with drinking in the comments below. Let's create a conversation below so we know that we're not alone. Thanks for hanging out with me. Thanks for listening to my story, and I can't wait to hear about yours. And I will see you all in the next video. Thanks, friends. Bye.